You're about to watch me read Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. I'm going to be updating you periodically with my thoughts as I'm reading the book, so let's go to right before I read it. I'm excited to read this book, and I think because I was a really big fan of the show Anne with an E. I thought that was a brilliant, amazing show, and I'm still really upset that it got canceled and they had to rush the ending, but I think that it was just such a fun time, and I've never actually read the book, and I'm in PEI, as you know, and so it's like, okay, let's read the book that takes place in this location because that's kind of fun. So from my understanding, Anne of Green Gables follows the life of Anne Shirley, who is an orphan who ends up getting adopted by the Cuthberts. And they're a little bit older, and so it just kind of follows along her adventures and her new life on PEI. She's going to school, she's making some friends, and that's pretty much all I know. It's just following her life and what it's like. And I honestly, as you know, I love those type of stories. So let's crack this book right open and get right into reading. So I'm now a little bit more than 100 pages, as well as halfway through Anne of Green Gables, and here are my thoughts so far. This is such a cute and charming book. It's really just a bunch of short stories compiled into one big story that follows along the life of orphan Anne Shirley, and how she ends up getting adopted and ends up living in Green Gables in Prince Edward Island. And Anne has a great, fabulous imagination. She's very positive, despite the hard life that she lived before, going through a bunch of homes where people really didn't want her. They didn't treat her right. They basically treated her as a slave until finally she's been adopted. But it was an accident too, because the brother and sister, Marilla and Matthew, wanted to adopt a boy because Matthew's getting a little bit older and he needs someone to help out with the farm. And so they're like, well, let's adopt a child. And there was a miscommunication and they ended up getting a girl, and they almost got rid of her, but then they realized that she's actually kind of warmed up to her, so they want to keep her. And so we're just following Anne's life as she's going to school, learning, making friends, exploring, and just allowing her imagination to flourish. She gets into trouble and she learns from her mistakes, and it's really just cute and charming, and it's really nice. I think that the writing is interesting too because you can really see and smell and feel the scenery of Prince Edward Island. I think I would like more though to see a little bit more of her adventures. I find that the parts, the kind of short stories within it, are really, really short, and some of them kind of get summarized a little bit quicker than I would like, but I mean, it's still good and I'm really enjoying it. It's very nice. I think one of my favorite lines was when Anne was kind of reflecting on the day, and she's like, I feel so bad for the people who aren't born right now because they're never going to experience this wonderful day. And I'm like, I really like that. And then she was also talking about how amazing it is that there are Octobers in the world. And those two lines just really kind of stuck with me because I really like her optimism and how she sees every single day as this is amazing. I'm so lucky to be here. I'm so lucky to experience this and live this life. And I love how dramatic she is. She's something will happen. She can't go to a picnic, or she can't go over to her friend's house or something, and she's like, I'm in the depths of despair, and she's just so upset about it. I love it. I think that it's absolutely just so much fun. So I'm gonna continue to read Anne of Green Gables, and I will update you probably when I finish the book, so I'll see you then with my final thoughts. Last night I finished Anne of Green Gables, and I liked it a lot more than I expected to like it. I think that it was really fun. I think it was really charming, and I didn't expect to almost cry at the ending of this book. I knew the events that happened. So when I watched the show Anne with an E, and I've seen a bunch of other Anne of Green Gables stuff, just being a Canadian-born Canadian here, I'm very familiar with the story, but what I didn't expect was just like how heartbreaking it was going to be. Like I was trying to like mentally prepare myself, but I didn't know what it would be like in terms of the book, because there are of course differences from the actual book compared to what's been put into movies and into TV shows and stuff. And so I was like, but I really liked that because it's really like, it's real life. This is the kind of stuff that does happen in real life. And the growth of Anne's character and really just everything about that, I think was just really well done. And I think the only thing is that I would have wished to see a little bit more in the book. And I guess like, I mean, it is a series, but in terms of this just being like the first book, I think there's stuff that I would like to see, like more of the conversation, like the picnic that Anne was talking about. We heard about the aftermath of the picnic, but we didn't get to actually see Anne at the picnic. We had a couple of like, there was a lot of scenes like that where she would kind of like build it up and then we would hear the aftermath, but I wanted to see like the middle point as well. But everything else I thought was just like, it was really fun, and Anne's character is just so sweet. But okay, the stuff about Prissy Andrews and like the teacher like courting her, what was that about? Like I get that this was like a long time ago kind of thing, but everyone was treating it like that was perfectly fine. I'm like, I don't think it's ever been okay for a teacher to court a student, but yeah, that was kind of strange to me. But I really love the rivalry between Anne and Gilbert. I really love just seeing their interactions and how Anne sees it. And then like, because it's third person perspective, you kind of get a little bit of Gilbert in a way where he's just like pretending not to care, but he actually does care, and he'll like pick up the little like petal that she dropped, and like he's just like in love with her and she just doesn't know it. And then yeah, it's pretty good. I'm excited to see like where her story and where Gilbert's story is gonna go, because I'm a sucker for romance. I love romance. And Anne, I just love Anne's character, and I love just her positivity and the endurance and just everything that she goes through and all the mistakes that she makes, and she learns from the mistakes, and just her growth as a character I thought was just so fabulous that I'm really excited to see like things didn't go the way she expected, but the way that she handled it was really mature. And it's also like interesting to think, because she's like at 15, she's like, yep, I'm all grown up now. And it's like in this time period, yes, but when I was 15, I'm like, I was 15, I was not a grown up. And like she's able to go to like college and stuff. I'm like, that would be great. Like I would love to just like go to college at like 15 and then, you know, have a career before I'm 20. But you know, different times. And I like that. I like that the different time period is very evident, and I really like just had a good time with it. So today I will be awarding Anne of Green Gables a total of 4 stars. I liked it, and especially like as classics go, it's actually a readable classic that doesn't hurt your brain. I find a lot of times the classics, because they're so much older, it's really hard to understand them and like the old-timey language, whereas this one isn't as old, and the parts that are hard to read are just like the parts that every person has experienced about being like anxious and getting in trouble and like unfortunate events that do happen as you age. And so I don't think that it's a hard to read book. I think that it's a really fabulous book, and I love that it's just like Canadian representation, because being Canadian, I love seeing that kind of stuff. So me being in PEI, I am going to pick up the rest of the Anne of Green Gables series. There's a bunch of other books that just follow her life, and so I'm very excited to see like where that's going to go, because I'm not familiar with those. In all honesty, I thought that it was just the one book. And now that I know that there's more, that's super exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna be picking up the rest of those, and I'll be reading those later as well. In the meantime though, completely opposite vibe of Anne of Green Gables, the next book that I'm gonna be reading is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. And honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna end up DNFing this book or not. It's very controversial. People either really love it or really hate it. So I'm a little bit nervous going into it, but yeah, it's spooky season, and I know it's like a dark romance, but from the way I understand it, it really just sounds like a horror story. So yeah, this is what I'll be reading next, and we'll see if I am the type of person who likes it or not. So thanks so much for watching. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you love Anne of Green Gables, definitely hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!